YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, all new from E-flite, the SE5a. Look at this beautiful thing. It is 900 millimeters of World War I delight, or two. One, yes, one. That's right. We've got multiple machine guns, one on top of the wing, we've got one under the wing, and then I think that tube is the thing he looks through to tell where he's gonna be firing. And yes, the pilot had to reach up and hit the gun handle right here, which is just super cool. And by the way, speaking of cool, this gun comes off and this thing comes apart actually quite easy. The assembly was way better than I expected. We actually have some squishy-ish tires. They'll be more squishy when it's not 30 degrees, but just absolutely gorgeous scale details. And this thing went together really fun. Stay tuned, or check out rather, our unbox build radio setup. For now, we're just gonna take off, and here goes nothing from right there. Boy, 4S power. I think that's a little bit more than stock. Look at that thing, guys. AS3X Plus has this thing locked in, even with a giant crosswind. But as you can see, you can take off this plane from just about anywhere. Love the distinction in colors from the top to the bottom. Absolutely phenomenal. E-flite, you've outdone yourself as usual. Even in the wind, this thing is flying great. If you've ever flown one of these vintage looking planes, man, his cape is going crazy. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Not the cape.
Scarf.
His scarf. There we go.
He needs an extra scarf today.
So cool. It's so easy to do too. Oh man, I love the colors. High visibility, high pop. Obviously no LEDs because they didn't use them yet. Oh yes, for once we have a good excuse. Oh man, I love flying this plane. Super fun, absolutely fantastic looking. And it's very easy to fly, guys. Easy to load the battery. That's one of the first times we've ever had a biplane that's easy to load a battery in, which by the way is a big issue. If you've ever flown a biplane, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see how it slows down. Usually slow is the name of the game for biplanes. That angle of incidence on the wing is really steep when you're in slow flight. Love the landing gear, absolutely to die for. Just like the guy on the receiving end of those cannons mounted to this plane. So cool, oh man. And I hope I'm not overdoing the aerobatic capability. Let's go over by the bowl here for just a second. Man, that thing is gorgeous. All right, right there. I wanna see if I can take a landing into the wind here with this grass. I think we can get away with it. Let's try it, here we go. There it is, guys. Absolutely no problem on the grass hops. And that's unusual for being a 900 millimeter plane, but yet still good ground handling. And yes, look at this, I'm gonna take off crosswind. Look at that, get it on its mains, and then there it is. I love looking at that cape, except it's not a cape. It looks so dang cool, you can definitely see it moving around. Oh, that is so sweet. Looks absolutely realistic when you've got those little scale features. And yes, with 4S power, this thing is killing it. I would be amazed if it doesn't do great on 3S, to be honest, because that's full throttle and it's darn near unlimited vertical. Not unlimited, but pretty close. And it just really holds its own in every aerobatic capability. Sometimes these biplanes are really kind of challenging to fly because they fly so wonkadelic. But I gotta say, this thing feels really good. And yes, of course, that is symptomatic of the AS3X. Oh, but by the way, we also have safe. There it is, guys. As you can see, practically flying itself. Look at this. We'll give it a little bit of throttle, get a little more altitude, and then we'll just go ahead and turn. And then as we turn, we'll let go of the sticks here when we get where we're going. Beautiful, don't hit the flag. Just flying along, doing its thing, guys. And by the way, I gotta say, the safe feels really good on this plane. It feels like you could really enjoy your flight experience. They call this an experience level 2. I would say that was a good call. Experience level 1, maybe. To be honest, I would feel this is favoring toward 1 and safe, because look how nice this flies, guys. Really feels good for being safe. Some of these planes do not feel good. Let's try a landing in safe. We almost never do that intentionally. A little bit of bounce there. You have to manage your throttle a little better. But even this, what I want to do is I want to show them a turn here, camera crew. See if you can get both. I'm going to show you what happens is to coordinate your turns, you're going to use rudder and aileron. And this thing it feels really good. You're not slamming the sticks all the way to complete a turn. And so I really appreciate that. Now I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna show you what it looks like without AS3X in safe. I can actually turn it off. I made a middle setting for us. Okay, so that's safe and AS3X off. And I'm guessing it's gonna be just crazy, but no, to be honest, we're in the wind and it feels fine. But you can do crazy stuff like that and it just flies right out of it. Holy cow, wow. I can't believe how good this thing is doing. That is crazy. Okay, back to AS3X. AS3X Plus just makes it look a little bit cleaner doing it. How is it possible that it was flying that good in this wind?
But that was almost indistinguishable.
That is crazy, guys. And normally when I turn on safe or AS3X, it's like, oh, I like this plane now. And before it might've been, not so sure. That's one of the reasons E-flite, Maiden Flight planes are some of the best in the industry, because you can fly them so dang good. Sorry, I was shooting that star. You wanna come a few steps back for me, camera crew? Take a couple inside, that's fine right there. I gotta say, with AS3X Plus, I have been incredibly impressed with how well the planes have done in the wind. You know, we obviously try to fly these things in the lightest wind possible, but lately I just feel like it's almost like the wind is less of an issue because of the nature of AS3X Plus just making it so good. I do feel like I'm flying it kind of fast, but that tends to be true when it's a little bit windier. You got to keep your airspeed up just a hair, because if you don't have enough airspeed, you have a little bit less control authority. But I think in calm, you could just really cruise around with this thing. See that turbulence? You see that wind shear, guys? The AS3X Plus really keeps you on target, and you can see that windsock is just out. So now, if you guys are aficionados in World War I aircraft, and late World War I aircraft at that, then you are gonna love this plane. And I gotta say, we've seen a handful of biplanes that just don't do what you want them to do. This thing does everything. It feels fantastic. Reminds me of the PT-17, the big one we did, because it flies just that good. It is really fantastic. Let's see if we can do a runway landing here without bouncing like crazy. A lot of wind shear, a lot of turbulence. Let's see if we can put it down. Woo! Don't want to rub my wing. Oh, no. Oh, it was giving me a warning, guys. It was vibrating at me. The transmitter was vibrating at me, Megan.
It was?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you hear it?
No, I heard her talking right at the end of when you stopped.
Okay, so now let's try a landing. Again, guys, big crosswind. Biplanes don't like crosswind, I can tell you that. That's more of a realistic landing for this type of plane anyway. Let's just fly some more. It's so dang cool. Guys, loving it. Even in this crazy 90-degree wind sheary sort of craziness, it is just nothing like what I expected. It flies so dang light on its feet. It's really beautiful. It does all the things you want, and it's all new from E-flite, so you can bind and fly the thing. She's giving me warnings, but it just feels super ballsy still. Oh, it's a warning about Fahrenheit, something about the temperature that I can ignore now. Let's see if we can do this, guys. Let's watch this. Oh yeah, thrust reverse! So, what's there not to like about this? This is amazing. I love the way it flies. I love the way it looks even more. It is a showstopper piece of artwork, guys. Everything about this, the closer you get, the better it looks. And you expect it to just be a real pain in the neck to build. I'm telling you this, guys. Watch the Unbox Build radio setup. There's a little Easter egg where we make a mistake, and it's hilarious, and I want you guys to call it out in this video. For those of you that saw what happened, tell us what happened. Spoil the surprise for everybody who didn't watch. And look how small this is. You could get in the car, in the door, have it on your belly with the steering wheel in front of you. Well, depends on the car, and put it in the passenger side seat. I mean, this plane is small and it flies like it's big.
Yeah.
This plane is small and it flies great. And that was a pretty good amount of flight time. What do we got for time?
We're at 10.5 minutes right now.
2200 4S. Let's see what the telemetry data tells us. Let's walk over a little bit. Looks like we are pretty much out of juice, but I gotta tell you, I love this flying experience. It is second to none. The only thing that would make this better is Carbon Z, about 2.3 meters.
But biplanes are so big.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine how that would be insane.
This is so awesome because you get that big experience with the small package. And by the way, I gotta say, whenever we get these E-flite planes, I think, how can they outdo themselves? I'm gonna tell you what, when you get this plane, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. And I know sometimes it seems like a puff piece, but it's just so well done. Every view of this thing is gorgeous. It flies better than the competitive offerings. I hate to break it to you. I wanna say, oh, it's just the same, it's just more of the same, but it's not. It's so well detailed. It goes together super well. I love the colors. I love the finish. I love the exact match of the decals. I love the way that everything is pressed on and or jigged on, and it is just perfectly executed. This thing flies phenomenal, and it looks like a toy that you would get for your kid to play with. And then it flies great too. What more can you ask for? And by the way, I gotta say, if you're looking for something that is gonna be a beginner plane, this might not be it for one reason, and that is it's gonna be less resilient to crashes. And everybody's first plane is 50% glue by the end of your first couple of months, okay? That's the only reason I would say this thing can't be flown by a beginner. It does take a little bit of speed to keep in the air, which is surprising given the fact that it is a biplane. But I gotta say, every angle of it, every flight experience I've had with it, it's so good. And it just feels solid in the air, which I'm not used to. Like normally when I fly these, they're floaty and sort of like fly by suggestion, and you got to get into it, and you know, it's just, you got to fly the plane. No, this thing flies itself. It's awesome. So if you want a super cool plane, what you need to do is you need to scroll down to the video description below and get yourself your very own SE5a from E-flite. They're going on sale right now. Check out the links in the video description below, and look how easy it is to load the battery. Pull forward, get your prop out of the way, pull forward and up. Look at that. Look where the battery is. Super easy install, guys. And yes, it CGs out just near perfection by getting the battery in there. And yes, you can take this wing off, and yes, you can do it in a few minutes, okay? Push this snap here or here. Undo these. These are all something you can do without a tool. See, look, it's a stretchy band. So it's just got a little hook here. And even in the cold, of course, I'd pick one of the harder ones to do. Even in the cold, you can do that. Now, you don't have to have those on to fly it, but I would highly suggest leaving them on because it's gonna be so dang beautiful, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I just wanna show you guys that I can get that back on. Now that I've taken it off, I have to prove a point, okay? One thing I can definitely say about this plane is it is resilient, and I didn't think it would be resilient because it looks kind of boxy and clunky, but I'm gonna tell you something. This thing has seen things that other planes in my fleet have never seen, and it has to do with stainless steel and glass, okay?
Yes.
Maybe this is a little harder to do with gloves on than I thought.
It's gonna be a little bit tricky, but the thing is, I feel like there's not a lot of foamies in this like World War II size, and like you just don't get that. If you want, you have to build a kit or have a balsa plane. If
That's
you
right.
want like a biplane.
And that PT-17 took us like 40 hours to build.
It was terrible.
It was ridiculous.
And it's gigantic.
It is huge, but I mean, huge is beautiful.
Well,
and also I gotta say, it was big, it was beautiful, and it did fly good, but then the landing gear were broke like on the first flight,
That's
folks.
right.
This thing has awesome landing gear. It is super easy to put together. And yes, I would suggest if you have forceps, there we go, finally. I make such a big deal about how easy it is, and then it goes together like takes 10 minutes. We built this whole thing. I think our unbox is probably one of the shortest unbox build radio sets we've done in recent vintage, right?
Yeah, we were done unboxing and building it in about 40 minutes. And that's
Wow.
us.
That's
you
like
doing it.
That's like impossible.
Yeah.
I've talked for more than 40 minutes at the end of a video.
Yes.
So this plane is really good, guys. It's not just hype. I hope the other guys aren't just gonna hype it up as a beginner plane and all that, because the truth is it probably wouldn't make a terrible beginner plane. But I gotta say, there's better beginner planes because you're gonna beat the heck out of them.
Yeah.
Get yourself an Aero Scout, get yourself, you know, a Sport Cub S UMX, something that's really, you know, I don't wanna say throwaway because none of these planes are throwaway to me. I love flying all of them. But what's another one? Probably the Apprentice 1.2, the Apprentice 1.5,
Yep.
the Apprentice 700. Those would all be great beginner planes. And by the way, if you're looking for a beginner plane, you know, you could do a beginner plane and then do this plane. I have full confidence that if you have the correct radio system, you turn on safe, do all the stuff we do, you'll have a great experience. And that's part of the reason why we go through step by step, all the steps, not just some of them, not just the highlights, not just do this thing and then you'll have a good experience. No, we literally do it with you. So if you're looking for help, you're in the right place. It's Brian Phillips RC. You have found it, you have arrived, we'll get you there. Out of the chair and into the air with the full truth. Nothing but the truth, so help us God. I'm Brian Phillips RC here on YouTube. If this isn't your cup of tea though, head over to brianphillipsrc.com and you can check in our by type or by affiliate relationship sorting method. You can find everything you want right there, right now. Thousands of videos for your viewing pleasure. We'll help you sort through the plethora of thousands of amazing experiences. You can see one that really does wet your whistle. And I'm telling you right now, if you're anything like me, if you enjoy aviation, if you enjoy scale flight, you will really enjoy this. Now, there is one thing that people will say about this plane that they don't like. And I'm gonna tell you what.
What?
They don't have it yet.
Oh.
Because it's that good. I really, really enjoyed this plane. And I've had just this one flight in the cold, painful wind.
Yes.
So, if you want more details, leave questions in the comments below. If you guys want to get one, check out the links in the description below. Follow it, buy one there. You'll support Brian Phillips RC and all the different RC things we do. But if this isn't your cup of tea, you could also get the NX10, the NX8, a battery, whatever it is you're into. We'll take care of you. Guys, if you want to support us in other ways, we have YouTube Super Thanks, YouTube members. Thanks for being members. If you want to be a member but you don't like YouTube, then you can do it on Patreon, even though it's basically the same group, I think. Either way, we really appreciate you guys being members. We're up to, I think it's a little over 100 between the two communities,
yeah, definitely over 100
which is pretty cool. Thanks, guys, for being there for years for us. Also, PayPal, if you don't like any of that stuff, you want to share less information, we get it. That's totally cool. But really, the best way is to watch the videos, smash the like button, share this content with others that might be interested. Because remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow this hobby. We're trying to balloon the reach so that we have more legislative authority against an overreaching, ever-increasing government size. Hopefully that gets resolved somewhat in the next few years. And then also increase our buying power. How? Because we're going to help these manufacturers to find success and then grow and do things that we like. Because here's the thing. We vote with our dollars and cents and our feet. And the best thing you can do is when you see a great product well done, you vote with your dollars. Vote with your dollars through our links. You help support us. Vote with your dollars. Okay? Close that loop. Help the people that help us. Help yourself. Help the hobby. That's what we're all about here on Brian Phillips RC. This plane does all of it. It is great. This is an example of the technology improving so much that it becomes easy, fun, and cheap. That's right. I said cheap. I know it's hard to believe, but the truth is 20 years ago, you couldn't get anything near this for the type of money we're talking about. You couldn't get a transmitter or anything near this. Now, yes, there's some more money involved, but we also make a little bit more every hour working. So just think about this. 20 years ago, you could not get a 10-channel transmitter. Well, and if you could, it was extremely expensive. Now you can get 10 channels and all sorts of stuff. This is 20 channels, by the way. You get NX8, 20 channels. NX7E, 14 channels. NX6, 14 channels, guys. There's so much more now that you can do in this technology, in this field, in this arena, than you could do 10 years ago. If you're just coming back, welcome back. You're in the right place. All right, that's all we got for you. Get one right now. Links in the video description below. Awesome plane. Good job, E-flite. We love working with you because every time something new shows up, we know it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the best you can get. And we hope you guys keep at it because we know there's a million easier ways to make a buck in this world, but you choose glutton for punishment status, just like Brian Phillips RC. So thank you for doing that. Instead of like collecting trash, because that's easy money. Make airplanes, make more. Make some helis while you're at it too. We love them. We love aircraft and we love aviation here on Brian Phillips RC. So thanks for being here with us. Smash the like button on the way out. Click the bell so you can be notified when you do subscribe. And we know you guys will be back. Thanks for being there for years. If you've been there for years, and there's a lot of you out there that have been, thanks for continuing to back us up here on Brian Phillips RC. So much more to come right around the corner. Stay tuned. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, the SE5a, all new from E-flite. Absolutely gorgeous. This thing is a showstopper. It is super detailed. We even have a scarf. Amazing. And yes, it does blow in the wind. It's pretty awesome. This thing comes equipped with AS3X Plus on an AR631, which means we also have safe. And I also set an offsetting on it. And this thing is super detailed and super fun to fly. 900 millimeters, 4S, 2200. We're flying ours on a Gen 2 50C. And yes, you're probably thinking you have a runway and you're gonna take off from the grass. That's right, because this thing just does really good on grass ops. So full up elevator, we'll just go ahead and do a good old scale World War I takeoff. Man, that looks so good. And don't forget, it's got ups, guys. Oh man, those lines are gorgeous. Love the tan bottom. It is so dang good looking. Different spot to fly from here today that we normally wouldn't fly here. But we're gonna do it today just because it looks so dang good doing it. So all new from E-flite, as we mentioned, 900 millimeters, so it's not even a full meter in size. And yet the thing flies like $1,000,000. I gotta say, the thing looks the part and it does everything you want it to do. 2200 4S gives you tons of power. You could probably fly it on 3S, but I'm just gonna fly it on 4S because that's what they recommended. And I just love the power. By the way, I did set mine up with thrust reverse. It's really not necessary, but it's pretty cool. Do a little inside out loop. This guy's probably freaking out like, hey, get me out of here. 2 machine guns installed on this plane, and that is really cool looking. 2 machine guns, meaning there's one on top of the wing, and then of course there's one that's inboard, right next to the fuse. I think that one was timed so it didn't shoot the prop, but I'm not 100% certain of that because I don't know a ton about vintage aircraft like this. But obviously in tight quarters, it's doing just fine and it looks dang good doing it. Very easy to control. Coming out of the power to make it look more scale. Because yes, you can go crazy with this thing and it'll keep up with you all day long if you just stay in the throttle. But I think it looks better if you slow it down a little bit because that is the way it would look like in real life. You're obviously not going to be pulling those high G maneuvers in a real one. Right over those trees. Guys, if you've ever flown through a new line, you know exactly what I mean when I say you got to learn where the trees are so you don't hit them. We'll just do this upside down because it's fun. Again, he's like really getting annoyed with me because that pilot in there, which by the way, the pilot is dang scale looking. And that's one of the things I like so much about this plane. Let's do an inside out loop, hard on the throttle, and then I'll roll out of it at the backside, bring it in for a beautiful strategic pass. Oh man, that is gorgeous. I'll do it the other way so you can see his scarf this time, okay? You good? Mm-hmm. I'll go all the way in front of us. Just tractor in the prop to slow it down just a little bit. Bring it in here. Oh, that looks so dang cool. I love it. Right where the cherry would have been. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we don't just leave you high and dry, show you what it can do, and then leave you to it. We're gonna show you the entire unboxed build radio setup. If you need some help setting it up, we'll get you there. Out of the chair, into the air, that's what we say. Full truth, nothing but the truth. So help us God, because here on Brian Phillips RC, we understand there's a million different ways you can get your RC consumables. But the best way is by watching me screw something up first. So you don't have to. Love the tan. The underside is so dang beautiful. Very high distinct differences of colors. Camera crew is doing her very best to keep it in pictures. One of the best in the industry. Obviously, I think so. But many of you guys have told us over the years. But as you can see, this thing will just do precision aerobatics with the best of them. But you can also just tool around with it too. I'm waiting for one of those days where I can tool around with it and it's not super windy. That is one thing we noticed about this plane, is that with it, when you do fly in a heavy crosswind, this is not untrue of most model airplanes, we had to kind of stay in the throttle, make it go a little faster than we were hoping that we would have to keep it flying. But the AS3X Plus just has her locked in like nobody's business. And I love looking at all the scale details. They've done such a good job at E-flite of not giving up on any of that fidelity. That's part of the reason why we love flying the E-flite stuff like this. And if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC and you're just getting back into the hobby, we're gonna help get you there, folks. Because we understand it's not always as easy as it looks. Oh, that was fun. Because if it was easy, anybody could do it. And we firmly believe that most people can. But you have to want it, and that's why we're here. We'll help you get it. If you want it, and you just need that little bit of extra help. Because at the end of the day, flying RC is not the easiest hobby, but it is definitely one of the most rewarding. There's a lot of RC to enjoy. And I think flying RC airplanes is one of the best. One of the coolest, one of the most fun, immersive ways to spend your RC dollars and cents. And we're gonna help you do it here on Brian Phillips RC. Guys, if you have an experience with a biplane you wanna share, leave it in the comments below. Let us know about your favorite RC biplane experience. So cool. Trying to get you some different angles. Getting kind of a pretty sunset. We were afraid we weren't gonna get one. I'll show you guys. We'll try to do a drag out wheel drag here, but I wouldn't probably plan on it being too fancy because she likes to bounce. See what I'm talking about, guys? And that's just because I'm not a great pilot. Not because the plane isn't good, it's because I'm not. Got my first warning. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but she is 13.8 volts. 84 Fahrenheit. So yeah, I wasn't wrong earlier. If you're gonna do your touch and goes, you can do it in the grass. It works just fine. I'll show you guys. Oh, and I did set up thrust reverse. So if you need to use thrust reverse, it does work. I did not set up flaperons. If you really, really, really wanted flaperons, you could hypothetically do it, but I wouldn't suggest it necessarily on this model because you'd have to do some complicated splits, but that's with thrust reverse, okay? So real quick, 8 minutes 13 so far, and we'll go over to the voltage telemetry screen so you can see we got a little bit of juice left. We'll go ahead and take off now. Since it's calm, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little taxiing on the grass just so you guys can see how it handles. The tail is the rudder, and the rudder is the tail dragger rather. And so you may find that there is a little bit lacking on the yaw authority in certain ground situations. So just keep that in mind. Keep full up elevator. I'm trying to drag it out so it looks cool. It does definitely do that. Man, I love flying airplanes, guys. Up and over. Love it, it's so dang cool. Guys, they really just hit it out of the park with this plane. Even if you're maybe not into World War I or vintage aircraft like this, I gotta say, they've done such a great job on this one. So if you guys want a cool World War I plane, look no further than the SE5a from E-flite. It is super cool. I really enjoy this plane. It's got the right size. It's got the right style. It's got the right looks. It's not hard to set up. It is just really well done. Show the plane. It's so gorgeous as we approach. Look at that thing in this beautiful, almost spring sunset. Can you ask for more? And the answer would be maybe a bigger plane. But I gotta say, for the size class, it's not an ultra micro. And no, it doesn't get ugly when you get close. It gets better when you get close. And that's part of the reason why we like this. By the way, about 10 minutes of flight time without really going too crazy pushing it. But every detail on this plane is just super fantastic. Wood prop that's not wood, it just looks like wood. And this thing is just absolutely phenomenal looking. I'm not sure if that's painted or if that's just plastic, but then we've got the guns up and down. I'll show you both of those real quick. We've got these strings that go between the wings. These are not, these guy wires are actually just stretchy, so they're super easy to put on. And then if you look under there, we've got that one machine gun there. It looks like a liquid cooled machine gun. And then up top, they had this, must have been like their backup machine gun. But yes, this all snaps in. It's super easy to take on and off if you decide you want to store it or package it in your car or whatever for transit. But I can tell you this, leave these on when you transport because you can unhook here and 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 here, and then that top wing can come off. But honestly, this plane is not that big. Not really sure why you would even take it apart. Look how small this is, folks. It's not that big. You could easily put this in a Miata with you if you had a Miata, if you know who I'm talking to. So look at that absolutely gorgeous pilot. It's actually well done. It doesn't look like some sort of a weird noseless creature. And then this is what I was talking about earlier, is that the wheel is actually built into the rudder. This wheel is built into the rudder, and I love the tan. It looks absolutely fantastic. And right here we have super detailed, perfect matches. I'm not even sure if this is paint or jigged or if it's just another decal, but they have just perfectly matched it. So as usual with E-flite products, they've really hit it out of the park. Check it out, links in the video description. If you want to help support our channel, buy things from the links in the video description below. Super easy to battery with a 2200 4S. Gen 2 is what we used. It CGs out really nicely, which I've marked it on the top of mine. So just to give you an idea, the thing is just, it's easy. You put the battery in, you strap it down, put some shelf liner in there if you want to see what we mean by that. Check out our unbox build radio setup, and we'll take you through the entire process of unbox, build, and radio setup. And full disclosure, we did download that from the transmitter. So we'll show you the entire process. And we hope that we've earned your trust over the years, but if we haven't yet, just stay around for a while and we will. Because guys, here at Brian Phillips RC, we're here all about getting people back into the hobby, out of the chair, into the air, telling the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And then we're trying to bring brand new people into the hobby. And the way we do that is by giving you a quick synopsis of what we like about planes. And then not just that, but also showing you exactly how they perform. Then showing you how to make it perform that way for yourself, okay? There's a lot of people that show how they perform, but they don't show you how they got it there, okay? We're gonna do that. That's what our unbox build radio setup is all about. And we've done it for hundreds of other aircraft just like this. So if this isn't your cup of tea, and you want to find something that might be your cup of tea, check out brianphillipsrc.com. That's bprc.me if you don't know how to spell my name, first or last name. Don't feel bad. Just check it out, bprc.me. And you can find all the amazing content that we filmed over the years, organized by type or affiliate brand or hobby shop that we worked with to bring the planes to us, okay? So we'll show you all that in due time. In the meantime, smash the like button, click the bell for notifications when you decide you can't live without more Brian Phillips RC, so you can get notified about all the new content that's right around the corner. If you want to support us today though, there's a few other ways. You could do Patreon for monthly support, YouTube members for monthly support, YouTube Super Thanks for one-time donations, and PayPal for one-time donations if you don't want to be part of those other groups. And we totally understand if you don't want to do any of those four things. We'd rather, and we've said this for years, we'd rather that you be in the air and not just watch us and live vicariously through Brian Phillips RC. So look in the links of the video description below. You can find this, or if you're on brianphillipsrc.com, you can just scroll and we've got buy now links. When you buy it now, it just brings you over to the website that we worked with, and then you can decide if the price is right and if the shipping or whatever the terms are gonna meet your fancy. Because at the end of the day, we understand everybody operates on a budget. We're gonna help you guys decide if you really want it or if it's just more hype, okay? Because we don't really care which plane you pick. We just want you to pick one that's gonna fit your skills and what you really want, okay? Because at the end of the day, there's probably 1,000 good planes right now that you can get. It's hard to sort through 1,000 planes, guys. And we haven't done all of them, but the ones we've done, we'll tell you when they are missing something that we think they should have, or if they perform terribly, you're gonna know, because I'm not gonna be excited about it. This thing is not one of those. It's very good. So I'm super excited to be involved in this RC habit, addiction, hobby, whatever you wanna call it, because I really love RC and I really love aviation. And we're doing it here in true color at Brian Phillips RC. So if you've got questions, leave them down below. We'll do our best in the comments to get back to you. And if you guys have a story about your biplanes that you've flown over the years, let us know what you've done in the past and give them another quick close-up of this. This thing gets better the closer you look. Most planes, that's the opposite. You get close, you start seeing mistakes. This plane looks like a model that you would have built as a kid, except it flies. Mm-hmm. And just because it's got some plastic reinforcement doesn't mean it's a big brick. This thing flies good. So get one and prove me right. Check it out. Links in the video description below. Thanks for watching, guys, and come back for more.